With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reports 500 COVID-19 tests carried out since our previous report on Friday. 3 are positive for COVID-19. All 3 are travelers who tested positive following routine screening, and as is protocol, they will remain in isolation until considered recovered. The total number of people in isolation right now, 723. 16,292 COVID-19 vaccinations have been administered to date, and 6,926 people have completed the 2-dose course so far. The system works. In summary, that's the view of Campbell's attorney James Austin Smith after a judge finds the customs and police raid of Doctors Express and seizure of vaporizable cannabinoid products illegal.
Obviously, we are delighted on a personal level. I'm delighted for my clients because they've had their reputations vindicated, and we're delighted for the patients because they've got access to medications that they need again. But the judgment goes further than that because it's not just about this specific fact set, it's about the way in which the state interacts with the individual.
In a press conference today, Mr. Austin Smith said when a public official or someone in uniform tells you they're doing something in accordance with the law, the natural inclination is to believe them. And that, he says, is what makes a case like this all the more important, because it underscores a cornerstone of democracy. No one is above the law.
In a case like this, when Parliament has explicitly legalised the medications, but Customs then decided to go behind Parliament's back and circumvent the rule of law and elected Parliament's decisions, a judgment like this that puts it back in its place and explains no one's allowed to do that is hugely important.
The attorney represented Cayman Islands Urgent Care Limited, Doctors Express, Kaiser Day Cannaceuticals Limited, and Kaiser Day Pharmaceuticals Limited against the Director of Customs, a local JP, the Commissioner of Police, and the Chief Medical Officer. A police service vehicle and a gold Honda Accord collide Friday just after 8:30 p.m. Police say it happened at the intersection of Watercourse Road and Hell Road in West Bay. The service vehicle smashed into a nearby fence, leaving the driver with minor injuries and the vehicle with minor damages. The Honda was seriously damaged, but its driver unhurt. Both drivers were breath tested, and the driver of the Accord arrested on suspicion of DUI. The driver of the police vehicle was taken to the hospital, treated for injuries, and released. The driver of the Accord, a 46-year-old West Bay man, has been granted bail. A man is hospitalized after a traffic collision on Shedden Road in Georgetown Saturday night. Police say they responded just after 9:30 p.m. A white Toyota Aristo ran off the road, overturned, collided with a fence, damaging a parked gray Volkswagen Golf. Both vehicles received significant damage. The driver of the Toyota received a breath test and was found to be over the legal limit. He was taken to the Cayman Islands Hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The matter remains under investigation. After this weekend's tour, officials with the Cayman Islands national airline, Cayman Airways, are inviting the general public to tour the Boeing 7378 aircraft in the BRAC this Thursday. Cayman Airways President and CEO Fabian Worms.
The general public will have the opportunity to come and see the aircraft, but more importantly, we'll have several senior captains on hand to answer any questions or address any apprehensions that the traveling public may have with respect to flying on a 737-8.
As you know, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 were grounded after 2 fatal crashes internationally. Some modifications have been made to one of the aircraft systems, and pilot training has been a key component of the plans to return the aircraft to service, not just locally, but around the world.
The way this is happening in the rest of the industry is that this training is done in a simulator. And the pilots, once they've finished their simulator checks, they go straight onto the airplane and fly. We're not doing that. We're going to make sure our pilots, as we say, as I've said, do a series of flights, 3 days of training flights.
Tours of the aircraft at the Charles Kirkconnell Airport are scheduled on Thursday, February 18th. That's this Thursday. They start at 11 in the morning and end at 1:30 p.m. Cayman is cracking down on companies who fail to submit accurate information about their beneficial owners.
Cayman is committed to doing its part to fight global criminal activity, and having an effective beneficial ownership regime is a core component of this commitment.
Chief Officer in the Ministry of Financial Services, Dr. Dax Basteo, tells Radio Cayman the Registrar of Companies is imposing penalties and issuing warning letters to companies that fail to submit accurate information about their beneficial owners, levying 19 fines of $5,000 apiece since the start of February. Government says it shows there are consequences to not maintaining current beneficial owner details in line with Financial Action Task Force standards to fight money laundering, terrorist financing, and the financing of weapons of mass destruction. Cayman Arts Festival Elite Ensemble there presenting some musical items during a ceremony and reception last Thursday to honor those receiving the Certificate and Badge of Honor for outstanding contributions to the islands.
These awards have a long history dating back to 1926. Today, they are still awarded locally by governors in 5 overseas territories. The other 4 are Bermuda, Gibraltar, the Falkland Islands, and St. Helena. They are for members of our community who, for their loyalty and meritorious conduct, have provided services of exceptional benefit to the people of the Cayman Islands.
In his remarks, Governor Roper noted that 2020 was an exceptional year, but our islands have also done incredibly well through that, managing the global pandemic, which he says is the biggest health crisis to hit our planet in more than 100 years.
So many people stepped up and went the extra mile on the front line to protect everyone on our islands. I am therefore delighted to be able to present awards to members of our community who are a shining example of service, commitment, integrity, selflessness, and sacrifice. I thank you all on behalf of the Honourable Premier and myself and everyone in Cayman for all that you have done and will continue to do for our islands. Your contribution is greatly appreciated.
Awardees are drawn from across society, including civil servants, health professionals, private sector individuals, and people from the charitable sector. You can see the event in full on the CIG YouTube channel. Another small bump in Grand Cayman gas prices, a big jump, though, for Little Cayman. Radio Cayman's Carsley Fuller has more.
According to the Overall Retail Network weekly analysis done by the Utility and Competition Regulation Office, self-service regular gasoline across Grand Cayman is averaging $3.91 a gallon, which is up 1 cent since the last check on January 29th. Premium self-service gasoline is logging in at 2 cents higher at $4.30 a gallon, while diesel is averaging $3.93, up 4 cents. For a quick comparison, 6 months ago, gas prices in Grand Cayman were $3.90 for regular, $4.29 for premium, and $3.91 for diesel. For Grand Cayman, the average price for regular gas is $4.11 a gallon. The cheapest is reportedly being sold at Mike's 7 Mile, where Off-Reg says it's $3.77 a self-service gallon. The average price for regular gas in Cayman Brac is $4.24. Folks on Little Cayman are now paying $5.17 a gallon, up more than 20 cents. On the diesel side of things, the average price is $3.91 on Grand Cayman. Off-Reg says the cheapest is being sold at refuel for $3.32. The average price of gasoline in Florida is up to $2.47 for regular and $3.08 US for premium, according to AAA. Log on to offreg.ky for a full breakdown. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Carsley Fuller.
That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.